welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. Let's see, we've got everything together here, so... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I still need some more wool, and I definitely need more wood. Alright, let's duck out here. We have a noisy cow up there jumping up and down, but other than that, everything seems cool. That's not where I came out of. Alright. Oh, there you are. Hiding on me. I know what happened. The torch came off. Okay, we are headed this way. Off to the west. In the ever-present quest to journey to the FarLands. And I just tried to sprint again. Anyway, let's start out as usual. The world size report shows, let's see, Windows is reporting the world save folder at 792 megabytes. And Minecraft reports the size of this world at 795.42 megabytes. Alright, we've got some sheep here. Let's gather up some more wool. You never thought wool gathering could be so productive. How's that for an obscure-ish kind of reference? Anyway, we proceed on. Let me go ahead and chop down a tree, too. I should really grab 3 or 4 more, but there's another one right there. Anyway, we're progressing onward. I've noticed that the reprieve of temperatures in the daytime is somewhat over-ish for the most part, because the temperatures have, shall we say, they have relapsed back into the upper 90s during the day. Now it's going to be easier going this way. And that has made for a considerable level of discomfort, and has also encouraged me to do as much recording during the daytime as possible, specifically during the early part of the day, in the mornings, before it has a chance to heat up very much. And so that's what I'm doing. It's something about, what is that? Almost 10 o'clock in the morning, which is perhaps almost too late, but it's borderline. I'll be able to get this done before it gets too much hotter. One of these days I'm going to have air conditioning that works and actually be able to afford to run it, and things like what the temperature is like outside won't be quite such a concern. That'll be a nice day. That will be a very nice day. Anyway, in the meantime, yes, it's true. I don't have any desire, or very much desire at all, to do very much during the daytime except sit in front of the fan running full blast and hope that it cools off. But that's alright. I get a reasonable amount of stuff during the morning done, and in the evening when it starts to cool off, I get a few other things done. The rest of the time, I use that for rendering and uploading, because those are things that I don't have to actively participate in. Huh. So, proceeding onward, let's see. Some of the fun that I've been having has to do with the fact that some of you may recall that I mentioned recently in a vlog that I lost a couple of teeth. And it's not that it was a surprise, because actually I've been expecting these teeth to go, because they were in horrible condition. And they finally did. Let's just make it easier here. Oh, yeah, now that loads up and kind of makes the boat pointless, but that's all right. And I mute the mic real quick. Oh, that's better. Anyway, let's see. Well, it's been kind of fun because, well, first of all off, it was really extra special fun when the one tooth broke off and it was just gone. The other one broke off and immediately got jammed into into the roof of my mouth. And it took me like, I think it was some 3 hours to get it pulled out. And oh boy, was that fun while it was in there. No heavy sarcasm. And so, finally got that taken care of. But now, of course, there is the rest of that story, which involves a lot of general jaw pain, a certain amount of swelling in the jaws, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to be having fun with that for probably the next 2 or 3 weeks until everything finally heals over and kills whatever it is that causes the swelling. Noisy critters around here. Anyway, there we go. This looks to be a lot easier to traverse. And so, proceeding onward from that, in my Minecraft Vanilla Main World series, the one that I call TFC's Minecraft Adventure, I actually got a couple of new episodes out recently. As a matter of fact, I've got part of another episode already recorded, and this is it's continuing a quest I started some time ago to find the horses that were introduced in 1.6, and that quest involved traveling a considerably long distance. As a matter of fact, there was a while there I was beginning to feel kind of like it was Journey to the FarLands, only with enchanted diamond armor and an enchanted sword, and so on. But after traveling, okay, I had reached a point where I decided, oops, excuse me, I had decided that I was only going to go just so far, and then I was going to stop and turn around and decide that the horses weren't worth the trouble. The reasoning for this was that, granted, this was introduced in Minecraft 1.6, which was actually a couple or 3 months ago, and so on, but now my delays have got it to the point now where we are approaching Minecraft 1.7. I mean, the snapshots have started to be released and so on, and so 1.7 is around the corner, and they're talking about all kinds of new biomes and other new and apparently exciting things. And that's all fine and dandy, but all those things are going to require generating new chunks in order to find them. And considering the size of my world now as it is, I would rather not be generating any more new chunks than I absolutely have to before that is released. And so I decided that in my quest I was traveling to the east, and I had decided that I would not go any farther than 10,000 blocks east of spawn, which I thought was actually more than reasonable. There we go. And so proceeded and searched. I found several plains biomes, which is where the horses are supposed to spawn, and none of them had any horses. There was one that I stopped at, and I spent something like 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever Minecraft days in that one area, terminating all life forms that were not horses, hoping to encourage the mob spawning algorithms to spawn 1 or more horses in the area. Knowing, and honestly, I'm very certain, 100% certain, that had I stayed there long enough, that horses would eventually have spawned. That I'm certain of. It's just that horse spawning is somewhat more rare than that of regular mobs. And after however many days it was, I decided reluctantly to finally continue my travels, and so on. And finally, in the neighborhood of 8,800 blocks east of spawn, I finally found a group of 4 horses. And so the next episode in the adventure will be doing those things that is necessary, getting the horses tied up somewhere with leads so that they won't walk off, getting them tamed so that they won't despawn, and then there's going to be the adventure of figuring out how to get 4 horses moved approximately in the neighborhood of 7,900 to 8,000 blocks west, back to the country estate where I have a barn and stable and all that stuff set up for them. The question is, how am I going to maneuver 4 horses across that much terrain? Especially when you consider that at least probably a third of it involves crossing oceans. That's gonna be a challenge. I can see myself building bridges across the oceans. Yes, I'm aware, as Minecraftia Explored commented in one of those videos, that when you attach a horse lead, you attach a lead to a horse, that they will follow you and they'll even swim after you if you go in the water. That's true. However, knowing the legendary intelligence of Minecraft animals and pets, I don't think I want to trust that very far. It's one thing to trust it crossing a river or a smallish body of water, but when crossing an ocean that might be 20 or 30 blocks deep in places, I don't think I want to trust that in that kind of a situation. It just kind of goes against the grain. I've seen Minecraft critters do some incredible things, such as suffocating themselves in a wall when all they had to do was back up one space. But instead, they would just simply stand there and suffocate, and until there was nothing left of them but a puff of smoke and one final groan, or grunt, or cry, or whatever sound it is they make. And so, that's pretty much where that is. I'm not going to give away, I'm going to try not to give away anything more about what I'm going to be doing and how I plan to solve that problem of transporting those horses that far. But in the next episode, I plan to be doing something about it. So be sure not to miss that. Anyway, moving onward, speaking of Minecraft type things, we have the Hermitcraft FTB server and the imminent reset. I understand that a date has actually been announced for that reset, in that it should be on the 12th of September. The precise time yet to be announced. And when this reset happens, we will be switching to the 1.5.2 version and the FTB Unleashed pack, which should be very interesting. There are many differences between that pack and the Ultimate pack that we're running right now in 1.4.7, and those differences are a large part of why the world needs to be reset, because a lot of it involves world gen and other incompatibilities that are best solved by just resetting and creating a new world. But let's see. The Unleashed pack does not have GregTech installed, and so that's going to change a lot in terms of how industrial craft and industrial craft related things work, and how difficult and expensive they are to build, or how much power they require to operate, because GregTech, I think the main purpose of the GregTech mod was to make those things more difficult and more expensive. And with that not installed, they won't be so difficult, nor will they be so expensive. Then, of course, there is the fact that there are many, many other mods in that collection. If I'm not mistaken, one description I read showed that there was some 107 mods installed, which, that's a lot of mods. And to further make things interesting, an awful lot of those mods are things that I have never before heard of, which means there's going to be a lot of new and interesting things to explore and learn how to do things with. One in particular I'm looking forward to is the Tinker's Construct mod. It looks to be extremely interesting with a lot of potential to it. And so be working with that sometime soon. As a matter of fact, I might just start up a single player world, one that will not be used in videos, mind you, just simply to play it for a few hours and kind of get a little bit of a handle on how to do some things. You know, play a single player world with the wiki page open in a browser so that I can look a few things up, learn how to do some things, and maybe be a little bit, at least a little bit prepared for when the reset happens on the 12th. I think I might actually do that. That would be probably a good idea, since now we know for sure that's the pack we're going to. It's a matter of just opening it up and learning how things work. Another one of the mods that will not be in the new pack is one that has been a favorite of mine for a long time, and that is Red Power. Because there is not, at this time, a 1.5.2 compatible version of Red Power available. And there is no knowledge at this time when an updated version of Red Power will be available, because the author of Red Power, Elram, is I believe, a very busy person that doesn't always have time to work on the mod or anything like that, and it means that updates are fewer and farther between with that particular mod, although when they do come out, they are loaded with awesome. I've seen some really cool things in red power, and if any of you have ever used red power, you know what I'm talking about. That particular mod author she's got a lot of awesome going on, and when it finally does come out with the next update of red power, it's going to be very interesting. Another thing that's going to be very interesting is just exactly where am I going to park for the oncoming night, which is happening as we speak, or as I speak. How about right there? All right. Go ahead and dig in. Let's go ahead and dirt block the doorway after I put up a light inside. And get this opened up. I've just noticed too, my diamond shovel is really getting awfully low on its durability. I'm going to end up making a new one of these days. Probably soon. Anyway, let's get this bed in place. Alright. That's not what I meant to do. Although that sound is refreshing. I like the old bow sound so much better. I mean, when you hear, you know somebody's been shooting a bow. Rather than that little poofed sound. That little really soft sound that the new bows make. Never cared for those. Alright, I've already got a boat, so I'm going to call that enough. Go ahead and gather up my workbench. Ditch the extra gravel or cobble or whatever that is. Alright. As always, thanks for watching, and be sure to stop by TinFoilChef.com/donate, where you can donate to Child's Play charity using the widget there. And also, lower down on the page is TFC Tip Jar, where you can donate to the cause of having enough propane to stay warm in the winter. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.